afternoon, or everyone. I'm Jess Wilds from the city of West Bend, and yeah.
My name is John Ehlke. I'm the production manager with the city of West Bend. Just a little bit of information about myself. Married, 2 girls. I'm looking at the screen like I don't know, like reading my own bullet points. But I graduated from Central Michigan University. I was a photojournalist for 9 years in the city of West Bend, and then started with community TV just about 3 years ago. So I've been in the community for over a decade at this point, and that was probably one of the great things about working with this community TV is I already knew a lot of the people that CTV was working with, so it's really a great transition for me.
I'm Jess Wilds. I am the Director of Communications and Economic Development for the City of West Bend. Oversee the Community Television Division, and our whole team is here. Nicole Bell is also a part of our team as Communications Manager. She joined us a little over a year ago, so sort of at the tail end of the campaign and project that we worked on that we're going to talk about today. I too have two young kids, 2 boys, ages 5 and 7. Have a history working mainly in communications and marketing fields, but started at the city in January of 2020. And it's
good
been
timing.
Fantastic, yeah, right. Really critical year for having a communications department. We sort of restructured when I joined the city of West Bend to really build out a full communications department. We had community television. We have various staff members throughout the organization who contribute to communications, public communications, and internal. And now we've sort of centralized some of that work and did so during the pandemic. And we'll talk about that a little bit as we go here. So we're going to talk about a campaign that we did community media-wise when the pandemic took place in West Bend. So it impacted everyone, and it sort of started out in March 2020 when it hit all of a sudden, and we noticed, everything community media-wise that we were going to do was going to dramatically shift, and it shifted overnight. Our team thought about, what is it that we can do? What of the work that's done in our department is covering events and covering public meetings, and we still needed to do those things minus events at the time, but looked for something else. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about what prompted that.
Sure. So I suddenly had a lot of free time with all of the events getting canceled. So we kind of sat down. I remember it was in the lobby that morning, and this was really great because this project that we're going to show you, it was a video that kind of started everything that we shaped our 2020 around was the idea of this video. Mm-hmm. So we sat down in the lobby. We brainstormed for about a half hour. I got my gear, this video that I shot. We did this whole project in one day. It was 1 camera, 1 lav mic, 1 tripod. So it was very, very simple. We kept it very minimal, and not on purpose, but it just, that's how we wanted to shoot it. So as far as time-wise and everything like that, there wasn't too much of a time commitment from editing and everything like that, but we wanted to make sure to serve our community in the way that they needed to be served at that moment. Before, it was covering events and getting their messages out through fundraisers and everything like that, but now they're in a different situation, so how are we going to adapt to get the new message that they have out at this very moment? So this is something that we put together. Like I said, we did this, I think, on a Thursday. We shot it, and it published Friday morning.
Mm-hmm. At a time of social distancing,
the businesses that you hold dear
will thrive the most when we come together.
So even if we can't gather,
we can still support one another.
Here's how you can help.
Buy a gift card online.
Utilize our personal shopping services.
Order carryout. Use our curbside pickup services.
Bring dinner home for your family.
Spread the word.
We need your help.
To get through this challenging time.
Together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Really, really simple, straight to the point though. The best part about this is just looking at our response, and that was probably the best thing about this, is it had over 21,000 views on Facebook just from that post alone. And what it spurred was, and I think Jess can kind of go into this a little bit more, but a way for our community to connect with our businesses. We were able to kind of create a little landing page on our website where businesses could put updates as far as, here are my hours now, here's what we're offering, here's our updates so you guys can contact us and figure out what we're doing. So it really was a great resource that kind of help the businesses get their message out as far as how people could contact them and still support them in this manner, rather than just going, I wonder if they're still open.
Yeah. Right, so this sort of spurred a much larger project. So that was the start, and that was in March. That was like a week after the shutdown, and it was like an immediate response. So over the next month or so, our team wanted to further assist businesses. We had the time all of a sudden, but we didn't really have the resources to like fund a campaign. So we went to our downtown business improvement district with a plan. They had marketing funding set aside that would maybe have helped events throughout the summer or something. We could just see that maybe there was an opportunity to utilize that money differently and put together more of a marketing campaign using community television, and then our team communications wise to create some social media ads, some just overall awareness that our businesses are open and here's how you can actually access them, support them, and see them. And so the campaign itself was presented as like a phased approach. At that point in time, there's still the Badger Bounce Back plan. And so we followed sort of what that looked like to craft the actual proposal. So the first phase, which we'll talk about and show you the video, was really, meant to be what kind of curbside, what kind of takeout, what kind of things can you do from the safety of your own home, since you can't go into the stores or you can't go into these organizations, but they're still open and they still need you. So it's sort of hyper local, and then we kind of expanded from there. So the overall goals here, you can see, is really just generating awareness, getting engagement, creating places on the City of West Bend's website and elsewhere where people could find information and directly contact businesses. Like John mentioned, the page that was created right away had like people's curbside offerings and wonky hours, and we spent a lot of time just like quickly putting that together and adjusting it as on the fly as things changed. So the bid said, okay, we'll find you. And like literally the next day we were like hitting the pavement, like we need to get this video going because it's changing so rapidly. And at that time, like early May is when our bid met. We knew like there was stuff going on in, with lawsuits and, or the law that was couldn't kind of change what was going on. So we were like, we need to just get this going, get this out, help the businesses right away. So the first, video, we went in some of the shops, talked about their personalized approach. We tried to only target people who were located really close to West Bend or within West Bend. We weren't really looking for like this tourism component. We were like, hey, you have these shops right here and you can access them, or they'll come to you. I mean, a lot of them are tiny little shops, and the business owner's willing to like deliver clothing so you can try it on, or food, or whatever is needed if you can't leave your home. So that kind of got us to this point, and we'll show you the video, and John will talk about the process for it and everything.
The charm and treasures of downtown West Bend can be delivered right to your door. Many shops, businesses, and restaurants are open and offering new services designed for you. Order unique curbside pickup delights, from food to gifts and even records. Purchase gift certificates from your favorite specialty shops. Delivered anywhere. Get the best of downtown personally delivered to your door. Open your doors to downtown West Bend.
So it's really nice when you have a wife who's in radio and can narrate your videos for you, and because it comes really cheap too. So that was my wife who did that video. Jess wrote the script and everything like that. It was really great to kind of have that narrative first, so we knew which shots that we wanted to kind of put on top of this. So we kind of spent some time, like Jess said, we talked to some of the businesses that were downtown, told them, they already knew what we were doing, and so we kind of told them what kind of shots we wanted to get. So we spent maybe a few days getting these shots, but we acted very, very quickly as far as getting this video out. So where it seemed like it was a quick process is because it was. We used a Steadicam with a Sony 7R4 to shoot most of this, and then GoPro as well. But that was pretty much it. The GoPro was in the mailboxes for the transition shots, and obviously this flower shot. But it was nice to kind of get this one shot under the belt, and then it was just a waiting game, essentially, to figure out what new regulations were going to be coming through and how our messages would then be crafted based on those.
So in addition to the videos, we pulled stills from the video content to start creating a photo library for the campaign. We also created a more extensive landing page on the city's website for downtown West Bend, so that the videos didn't just like live alone. We didn't just like post the video on the Facebook page and be like, all right, that's it, you know. And we really wanted to like keep promoting pieces of it and you know, make it an experience and engage people with our businesses. So in addition, we created an inquiry form on Facebook. So there are a lot of different options on advertising on Facebook, and we were pretty aggressive in doing so with things like this. And so we utilized their lead generation option on Facebook to create a simple form where people provide their information willingly. They see our video play and they say they want to learn more, and they fill out the form, and they gave us their email address, their name, and then what kind of information they'd be interested in receiving. So we generated 283 leads off of this campaign, and that was amazing. We were able to put together emails later on in the campaign and send them information about visiting downtown and what's going on, and featured businesses and all of that. So that's a paid Facebook advertising option, as well as other social media ads. So we had just the photos pulled from the video. Those sort of get different types of engagement. And then we actually boosted the videos themselves to our target demographic and generated page likes or followers so that they could just keep up with it, and you know, whatever kind of helped support our goals. Yeah, so and then the videos themselves we posted just organically on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, everywhere, YouTube.
YouTube was a big one for us.
And then we had a lot of sponsored ads rolling on YouTube as well. And we'll talk through some metrics like kind of toward the end here. So, all right, so the second phase, May was really fast. So that video like ran for 3 weeks and we were done because everything changed in terms of the landscape in West Bend at least, and who was doing what and what you were allowed to do and not do. And so we got on this video really fast. The visuals sort of went with, you know, like Travel Wisconsin started really promoting like outdoor recreation and like this is safe during the pandemic, or you know, and what you could do. So we sort of followed along with a little bit of what they were doing messaging wise and showcasing like the outdoors, West Bend's outdoor spaces downtown, the Riverwalk. You could still get this great food component and shopping in a safe way, and use those as visuals. So our target audience expanded a little bit from like really, really local to maybe more of like a day trip group, you know, within 30 miles. And just sort of messages like treat yourself like you've been home, or maybe you've been working remotely and like you could use a little drive, like, and it should be in West Bend. All right, so here's the video.
Take a stroll downtown West Bend. Enjoy our weekly farmers market. Drop by your favorite specialty shops. Plan your next adventure. Treat yourself. Dine al fresco together in downtown West Bend.
That again was a fun video to shoot. To be honest, the opening shot that we got of the kayakers coming down the river was by accident. We were there to shoot something else for a Business of the Month, and I was a little early and kind of was sitting there with the drone because it was actually the yoga shot that we had in there was from our Business of the Month series. That's what we were waiting for. And then we just saw the kayakers coming down. I said, whoop, looks like I'm going up and getting a quick shot. This looks amazing. So it was really nice, again, to kind of put this one together. This one had, I think, the longest staying power as far as duration from a phase approach. But it was just another great opportunity for us to go out to these businesses and shoot and kind of work with us with this messaging that we now had. So it was very similar. We chose the same music as well from the first video to the second video because we wanted that kind of synonymous effect with people that, well, this first video that we had, it did really, really well, and a lot of people, you know, kind of hung on to this type of video. So let's just make sure that when they hear that music again, oh, that's West Bend. I watched that video. This video got over, you know, close to 100,000 views on YouTube, we're going to keep doing that. We're going to keep that same music, so then people know not only is it West Bend, but it's probably something related to that first video that I saw. So that's why we kind of kept that same music with this video, to keep it all in one project scope.
And the same narrator, obviously.
Yep, same
Yeah.
narrator.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
She
Yep.
was
Sure
pretty
you're
in
not
it.
trying to target
Expensive.
like
Yeah.
North Milwaukee or anything, or
Well,
Not
there-
yet.
I mean, it's within 30 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Milwaukee's about 25 miles from West
Mm-hmm.
Bend, so we were kind of trying to get to that region a little bit, but
Cedarburg.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cedarburg, more so Hartford, like our immediate region, but
Mhm.
it kind of expanded throughout. So that video lasted all summer. You know, we had the farmers market all summer, and all of these activities, and it felt like summer when you looked at it. And that gave us a lot more time to sort of figure out, all right, what's the third phase? And we kind of didn't really know what it was going to look like either, because fall kind of came and like school's hitting back, and you know, it was all so much to figure out what's going to happen. So we're trying to like anticipate it. And so this one lived on, and we even ran it some throughout like the early fall as well, just to like have as like a second video if people hadn't seen it and have more content. But throughout this whole time, we were able to pull videos or photos from the videos and the video footage, and utilize all those leads that we were trying to generate on Facebook to create. So this email went out, I don't know, maybe in July, an HTML email that highlighted the different like areas that the bid is really interested in promoting. So like the shops, the service businesses, the events, and we linked out to as many things as we could to try to like drive traffic their way, as well as the landing page that we created. And we did track throughout this whole campaign, and like it ended up being one of our top pages of all 2020, which is really exciting for us, like because we're kind of geeky like that, and seeing that it had, you know, done a pretty good job in terms of engaging with people on the City of West Bend's full website. We had additional social media ads running throughout the summer and would switch them out. We had the big one kind of in the middle is the video itself. And we used some of those to like generate page likes. So you can select that engagement option on Facebook ads that you want to generate page likes. And that will just help us build our audience, since we were like 14,000 people, and tried to get more and more so that they would continue to see like all of our organic content moving forward. And then other just display ads. We had a couple ads that were like experiential ads. If you click on it, it like pulls up other images and like text specifically about what it is, and almost like an email. And I don't really see a lot of that on my Facebook page, but they performed really well. And you know, we would respond to comments. We didn't just like let the comments fly and be like, where is this? You know, we would we're like, oh, what's that flower shop that's in the ad? You know, and we tried to be as responsive as possible. All right, so the third and final phase, well, it technically isn't the final, I guess, but it was meant to be the final phase, was downtown date night. So in the fall, you know, people are just kind of antsy, and, you know, we really wanted to showcase West Bend at night. Like, everything else had been during the day. Like, West Bend has a great night scene downtown, and all of a sudden our cultural organizations were, like, back up and really open again, like, at least having events. I mean, some of them, the museum was shut down for a really long time. And so trying to get people to see that there are lots of things to do safely, and, you know, really make a night of it. So the strategy was to get more regional travelers. So we extended the reach of all the ads and promotion to more like 75 miles from West Bend. And some of our key messages were a little, you know, not as much about like the outdoor recreation or outdoor dining, but, you know, getting back into some of the nightlife activities, cultural organizations, shopping, and dining. All right, so this one. Oh, I'm sorry, I messed it up. It's just really loud.
Wait a minute, John, you changed the music and there's no narrator. That's right. I ruthlessly cut my wife out of the project. It was not an easy decision, but it had to be done. In all honesty, though, Jess and we got downtown probably about 4:30 that day. Started shooting, and I don't think we finished until maybe 8:30, because we needed to wait for the sun to set to make sure that we got the nighttime shots. But some of the things that we wanted to get inside the restaurants, they wanted us to come before dinner, before it was kind of busy. So it was a long day. It was a fun day, but it was a long day of shooting. And to be honest, I don't think we really knew what this video was going to look like. We knew the shots we wanted. We didn't know if we wanted narration with this video. We didn't know how it was going to look in the end of it. We kind of knew what we wanted to show. We just didn't know how we were going to put it all together. So after we kind of got this shot, I found this music on one of the sites that we kind of use for music. I was like, we got to change it up, because that like happy, fun time feel, it doesn't fit with the nightlife kind of vibe that we've got going on right now. So we got to change it up. So once we found this music, I was like, oh, that's really, really neat. That's really fun. Why don't I just start throwing clips on top of this thing, and let's see how this works. And once we started going through the clips that we had gotten from that night and putting it on top of this music, we both agreed, like, that kind of speaks for itself. We don't need somebody saying, go out to dinner, look at the shows, we can just show it, and like the thing I love most about this video is if you watch it, you're not thinking COVID out of your mind immediately, right? Like, this has staying power past what it had in October, September of last year. We can still run this promotion today. Come downtown. We have food, we have theater, we have this, we have that. You wouldn't know it just by looking at it. So that was one of probably the best parts about this video, was just kind of almost in a sense winging it, putting it together.
Oh, I didn't see anyone wearing a mask in any of the videos. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and there were really only like 2 people who were in this
Yeah,
video, so we
quick
like
shot.
followed this
Yeah.
couple.
The
The
couple-
gal,
Yeah.
the gal in the shot is like our
Are you
deputy.
doing a winter one, or?
So, well, we'll get to that in a
Yeah.
second. I mean, but this video kind of like, I think you can see like the progression over time, like, because this is a little different from the stuff that we normally shoot,
Mhm.
and so it's like, right, this is more like marketing versus information sharing.
Well, yeah.
And
I mean,
so
it's
like
30 seconds, 25.
Yep.
Each one was only 30 seconds. They might have been like 31 on the tail, but we made sure that it was exactly 30 seconds.
because that's what we could put on YouTube
Do
too.
you have a Chamber of Commerce, or?
We do.
Yep.
Okay, so you're doing this in addition to the chamber, then?
Yep. So
Because,
this
I mean,
was
this
like,
would be,
we didn't really work with the chamber much on this because it was funded through the bid itself.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, we work hand in hand with the chamber a lot on things, but this one was
Now,
a
this
little more
probably wouldn't
organic.
fit into your theme, downtown West Bend, with the Shalom Wildlife
Yep.
Center. That's a big draw up there.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What, like
it-
15 minutes away or something?
yep.
It's a little north. It's not technically in the city of West Bend.
Right.
That's the bummer part about it, but
Right. But it is a huge draw to
Yeah,
the area.
Yeah.
they let you drive through,
mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know, if there's snow on the ground, they got
Totally.
lights.
Nope.
Good shot, yeah.
Sorry.
Is that couple freaked out that you're following them?
No, well, that was the best. Not
We,
the
like,
not one of the
talked
best
them into
parts,
it.
but that's actually our chief deputy clerk, Angel Rettler, and her husband Cliff. So they volunteered to help us out and be our modeling couple. It just so happens that she's a superstar
She
and looks
looks like a
amazing.
model,
So that was just great for us. But they were extremely patient. They were game for any ideas that we had. One of the things that I ran into trouble with this is you'll notice there's no drone footage, and that's because it was during the DNC, and I was locked out. Even though the DNC was virtual, they still had a TFR in place for Milwaukee, which covered us.
Oh, wow.
So we got to the gardens and the shot, and we were gonna, kind of get up and have some fun with the sun coming through and everything like that. And I looked at my map and I said, "We're not going anywhere, guys. I'm sorry, it's all red." So we weren't able to fly that night, and we talked about maybe coming back down, and we had, at that time had to wait, I think, a week because it just had started, and I don't know if we can wait a week to get a drone shot to add to this video, and to be honest, we were fine with it. So it was just one of those things where in that instance we had to roll with it as well, and unfortunately brought along the drone for nothing to use it for at that shoot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of winging it because of everything being so fluid. So in this next slide is like a perfect example of that. So like we had planned to do some like promotion with Travel Wisconsin, and then all of a sudden like early fall, they announced this like travel stimulus grant, and it was worth quite a bit of money. And we thought like, and it would pay for promotional efforts that were done during COVID that like that you could get reimbursed for. And so we applied for it and just showed them what we had done, and then kind of pitched that we would additionally do some of this other stuff, and we got it. So we got $12,000. So it paid for all the promotion that we had already secured through the bid, except for the cost to like administer some. We did ask the bid to pay for some of our time as like a service fee to community media, but it paid for all the rest of the ads for the whole thing, and we just got lucky. I mean, really, like the bid would have paid for it too. But then they were even happier because then they didn't have to pay for it. And so it was like a win-win-win. So we worked with Travel Wisconsin to extend our reach. Since this was the third phase, it was more open. We incorporated other bits. You can see some of the imagery from the other ads to like put into the print advertisement with their like co-op placement. They have like a Fun Times that comes out in Milwaukee and northern Chicago area. And they have social media sponsored posts. You can send them your content. They put it on their Facebook or other social media accounts. And I mean, they have like 500,000 followers. So great. And they're all interested in like traveling and seeing cool experiences. So it made sense to put it there. And then they also did like an email co-op campaign that went to like 163,000 people, where we would feature, our downtown West Bend campaign and send them to our landing page. So it was like a really great add-on to what we were already doing with YouTube and our community cable channels and everything else.
Can you share it to other groups, other social media groups on Facebook that's
Like-
relative to
Oh,
West Bend?
yep. So
Yes.
we have an awesome Facebook group that's like come up throughout the pandemic called like, I think it's now they changed their name, but like Washington County Foodies. So we would share some of like the footage from these videos to be like, look at the restaurants in downtown West Bend. We could like do some like the organic shares like that. We did share news of that grant like with the community in general to be applying for, because it was such a great opportunity and it was fast. Like it came out and you had 10 days to apply for it, something wild like that. It was like the end of September. And so we just happened to have that campaign. We could have pitched a new campaign as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people did that. So. And then, all right, so this was just a look at some of the content. So our email strategy, we updated, did another like e-blast to all these leads that were generated to sort of match the campaign, some more social ads, and this nighttime getaway. Even the theater, I don't know if you can see it, but
That's right.
that was fun.
Yeah, the Bend actually helped us out to put on their marquee. It's time for a weekend getaway, and on the other side, get a Sittard's date night. So they were able to put that in there because that was our messaging. So it was just very subtle at the end, like up on the marquee. They kind of all tied it in together because they knew what we were doing to kind of help out with that. So that was another kind of great partnership of working with these businesses to all tie in the message that they wanted to share, and we were able to do that with our production. So it's great having community partners like that are totally game to do whatever with you, even when you just stop on by. Not that this was a stop on by, but I mean, these guys are great to work with. So
Totally. All right, so in October we had a little like snafu on our end. Most of this campaign was running on our city credit card, and for some reason it had been like not compromised through what we had done, but compromised some other way, so they had to like replace the card and get a new one. So like it paused all purchases for like 2 weeks, which meant like our campaign had to pause too, at least the paid parts of it. And so we still had a little bit of funding that we actually now needed to spend because like we're required to spend because of the grant, which gave us a little time to like pivot and think, all right, well, this is the end of October and what should we do now? And it was like, let's just keep on rolling, and like it's time to support small businesses, and this still will fit with the bid, and we'll ask for forgiveness on changing the campaign a little, and they were fine with it. So having that pause in some ways really helped us like kick off the holidays and get some messaging out there like really early on to like help the businesses during that time. So we'll put that up.
'Twas the year 2020 when all through West Bend,
Small shops and businesses prepared for a season so grand.
A time to give back to the causes who care.
May their missions be filled with the support that you share.
A time to shop for the ones you hold dear.
To show them how much they fill you with cheer.
But what to do in a year so unsure?
may you turn to local businesses for some allure.
The specialty shops
The holiday treats.
The handmade delights.
And the warm, cozy drinks.
And the shelves are all stocked with items galore.
May your shopping experience be better than any year before.
And with so many ways to safely find gifts.
Support local and give businesses' spirits a lift. From gift cards to curbside and ordering online, there are many ways to shop for a gift so fine. As you finish your list, take a drive full of bliss.
And enjoy entertainment you won't want to miss.
See the lights downtown as they shimmer and shine.
Perhaps catch a show.
Or eat a dish so divine. Take a moment to pause and reflect on this year.
And take heed knowing we're thankful you're here.
So get out and explore. There's no better reason.
Thank you for supporting local this holiday season.
Just replay it this year.
So, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, so we decided to flatter ourselves with the Together West Bend video and just did the same thing for the holidays as far as the production value goes. But the best part about that, I mean, we just did a tripod, camera, and mic again, but Jess was the one that wrote that poem, and that was probably the best part about that, was just the localness of that message. And people loved it. People loved just that creative messaging, and it was kind of nice to have something so creative that you can just back yourself up. Because then I'm just the guy with the camera. That's the easy part. The narrative's already constructed. So it was just another great, fun video that we did for Small Business Saturday.
And again, it was fast and pretty easy. We literally had each person just read the whole poem, just read it through, and then John, did his magic, and then we put it out there. It was a pretty quick couple days, and it was right in advance of our holiday. We always have a tree lighting the first week of November, so getting it out, showcasing that, and then using it throughout all of November, really to push people to go downtown to shop. We could probably use the same video this November. We're kind of figuring out what we want to do this time, because now this has spurred us to think a little bit more, a little bigger in terms of what we're doing, media wise, and we can use our cable channels, put an ad like that on. How great is that? And we could put that ad on now for this year.
Mm-hmm.
And so since we were able to kind of have this little bonus, even though it was a little different in terms of the campaign look and feel, we still put it out to our leads that we generated for the campaign. We kept building our audience and put in all the business owners on these emails and started, expanding that and doing this social media ad, really just showcasing all the holiday lights that the bid had purchased and invested in over the last few years. And that really worked out pretty well.
Did you have any additional lighting? Do you like any of this?
No, we kept everything natural, all natural, all simple. Mostly because we were going to be lugging from one place to another in one day, so we wanted to keep things quick. And mostly because these guys had things to do, so we also just wanted to keep things super quick on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the business owners were under so much stress already. We wanted to just be come in, we don't have a ton of equipment, and we're not going to take a lot of your time, but it was a fun retention effort in some ways, just hanging out with the business owners. And
free ad for them.
Yeah, of course. And that one listed each business throughout, and when we posted it on our Facebook page, we tagged them all, and they shared it, and that was kind of fun.
Just drove awareness to their businesses as well.
Totally.
Yes.
Who contacted the businesses? How did you decide which businesses?
Sure. So
people say, no, I don't want to do anything with that.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah. Well, we kind of looked at it a little bit that we wanted to incorporate a lot of different kinds of businesses, so we were kind of conscious about that. But also, there was a few nonprofits in that one as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to make sure, especially with this video, that we included nonprofits, not just businesses, because they are, going through the same thing. But it's a little hard to sell nonprofits, but it's a time of giving, so it's easier to make a donation or give. So that's a way that they can be supported by this video, we thought. So it was important for us. The gingerbread house was kind of an easy one for us to pick because it's seasonal and it's top of mind at this point. So it wasn't, I want to say there was a lot of thought in the selection, just as far as diversity goes, from services to the nonprofits, to make sure that we were showing a really broad spectrum of everything that we had to offer. So there wasn't a lot of all restaurants, all boutiques, and all this stuff. That was definitely put a lot of thought in.
That was throughout all 4 of the videos, or 5 videos you saw. The first one, when the pandemic first started, There's about a dozen video business owners in there, and pretty much none of those were in the rest of the other videos. You know, we tried to like be as fair as possible by showcasing so many and getting as many people involved as possible. I mean, there were of course shots of the outsides that showed, and the bid was really particular on that too. Like when we presented it to the bid, they were like, "Well, how are you gonna choose? Like we have to be like all equal." And we're like, "We will be. We're not gonna on those 3 videos particularly that they were paying for. We didn't list any one specific business name. We tried to just make it all about the experience of the full downtown. So there was a lot of thought that went into who and where and what was featured.
So did you guys make the choice? So,
Yep. Well, some of the, I'll even say like the holiday one, Eaton's Pizza, who was featured in that one. After they saw some of these videos, they said, "We want in. Can you please come by us?
Can we be a part
This
of
is
it?"
awesome. We want to be a part of it." So that was great to kind of have these businesses look at this stuff and realize, oh, this is really great. We want to be a part of this. We like what you guys are doing. So if there was consideration like that, yeah, we definitely made sure to do that. But we like Jess says, we were very conscious, like, nope, they were in this video, so we're not going to go back to them right now. Or we kind of had like a business featured like this in the last video, so let's stay away from that kind of business right now. We're going to look for other things. With the 3-phase videos, it was all within the bid, so that was really easy for us because these are our boundaries. This is where we got to stick. Okay, we're going to stick in those ones. But the Together West Bend and the Support Local Holiday Season, that was all of West Bend. So it was a little bit easier to go, we have this many downtown businesses, we have this many nonprofits, let's make sure we get out to this street, let's make sure we go south, and make sure we get one up in Barton and stuff like that. So it was nice to kind of have that flexibility with those last few, but with the bid projects, it was very specific as far as who and where we could go. So we didn't want to show anywhere outside the bid since they were the ones funding it.
Right, so the whole campaign, we had asked for, the bid had $17,000, so we asked for $17,000, and that's what they said they would give us. We asked for $5,000 to go toward all the, just like administrating it and time and the expenses on that side, and then the rest would all be for like placements, all the Facebook ads, all the YouTube spots, everything. So this was a 6-month campaign in total, starting in May. Going through, well, maybe a little slightly over, but that's how much we had to work with in the end, $12,000, and we got $12,000 back for the grant, which paid for that as well. So with that said, I mean, a lot of the cost was put toward Facebook advertising, so it also runs on Instagram. It's not quite the same experience for like sponsored content, but it works really well, especially with the photos. And really short videos. Facebook allows for a little bit longer videos on sponsor content before like something interrupts it or challenges. So like our total engagement, I mean, it was awesome. We felt pretty good about the reach and engagements. I mean, we had 55,000 engagements on the display ads, and a lot of those were comments, and we would comment back. We would have business owners commenting back on things. That was cool to see. One of our goals was to increase page likes, and from the video ads themselves, we got over 1,300 page likes to the City of West Bend page during that period of time. The lead generation campaign was great too. I mean, that was sort of a new experience on Facebook. I mean, for me, for sure. Kind of pulling off a campaign like that and understanding like how long can we use the leads for and what can we do with them, and this is a little bit hard to find out through Facebook, but we tried to be like as safe and good with them as possible and not sharing or anything like that. So we used those 283 leads to send all the emails out. We used MailChimp for that service. They have a free version. Constant Contact's really similar. But it's great because it will tell us what they did when they received the email. Did they go somewhere? What they click on? Where they engaged, and you can see on the far right side the email marketing really shows like what they did, and the average open rate was 31%, and those are like kind of cold leads that we don't really know that well, so we felt pretty good about the open and click rates and clicks on those campaigns. Then I don't know. You talk about YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube was great for us, mostly because these videos drove a lot of attention to our page, which for us was great timing because we started doing live broadcast football games in the fall directly to our YouTube page because of WIA restrictions at the time. Not too many people were able to get in, so the school district kind of talked with us about doing live games again. We just had been going to record for the last few years, but we thought, yeah, we can do that. So with all of these new eyes on our YouTube page, our football games just blew up as far as viewership and everything like that. I think we, in total, from the start of this campaign to the end of 2020, we gained 350 subscribers, which was really great for us because we weren't even near any of that stuff. But the football games, like I was saying, because those were direct live events that we were putting strictly on YouTube at the time, we were doing live as well as cable and VOD, but we were promoting to YouTube because it was an easier platform for a lot of people to find and use for us. So that's what we decided to do. But the best part is we realized that with all these new eyes on our page and everything like that, we were starting to get like a bigger audience, not just in West Bend, but outside. So we were getting views from Florida, from Ohio, from California, and then it started branching out to Germany and Russia and Japan and stuff like that. And it was really bizarre for us at first because we didn't really understand why. But then we kind of realized that more and more people had found us through this campaign that had potentially moved away from West Bend. And the one story I always like to tell is we were doing a football game. I told you guys earlier this today, but we had our announcer put together a Text the Announcer segment that he did during the football game. So we'd flash his number up on the screen, text us, hey, let us know you're watching, we'll give you a shout out. He was totally fine with it. I said, you sure you want to put your number out there? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And so we did. And it was the best thing in the world for us because we had one gentleman text us in from Japan. He was just waking up. He was stationed in Japan, military guy, and he said, I'm watching my nephew play high school football on a Saturday morning for me or Thursday morning for me, eating my breakfast cereal, but I'm able to watch it because I found you guys. Thank you so much. And I thought, well, that's the coolest thing in the world. Like, literally the world. It was the coolest thing in the world. So we attribute a lot of the attention that we got from, our fall football season, which we regarded as a high success, mostly because of all of the advertisement that was driven to our YouTube page because of these videos. Each of those phase videos had nearly 100,000 views on them, and they're still going, so they're still uploaded and they're still getting views and stuff like that. So it was a great thing to see for us because that was our big bubble moment for YouTube was due to this campaign. So it really allowed us to kind of branch out, but also serve a larger audience that we had no idea existed.
All right, this is our last slide, and we only have a couple of minutes left. So, we thought maybe others might be interested in exploring a campaign like this. I mean, West Bend is so lucky we have John because he can make these videos, and we just know that talent is rare and so special. So, this campaign wouldn't have been the success it was without his talent, for sure. But, if you guys have talent in your, communities like him, I would highly recommend something. And then, I guess I would almost start with funding. We didn't have funding for this at all, and we thought even if we could just get $2,000, we could probably run some ads for a while and just make something of it. So we thought about well, where could we get money? So the bid came up because they might have money, and then we could focus it on downtown. Or the Tourism Commission came up, but the Tourism Commission had no money in 2020, but they have some money now maybe. So if you have a Tourism Commission in your area, that might be a good resource, or maybe a Visitors Bureau, something like that. Even business sponsored content, which is now this year, that's kind of something we've gotten a little bit more into. I don't know, I was in the last session over there, and they're talking about proving your value, and we're always trying to do that. Put together reports of we put together quarterly reports on how of our media is working and how it's growing and how it's more and more needed as we move forward. And local businesses are taking note of that, and we're able to work with them on some special underwriting or sponsorship things, and that's been a really cool way of generating a little bit of revenue since franchise fees are so questionable. And then grants. I mean, just keeping an eye on grants. That grant came up in like a week. We applied, and we're just like super fast and hoping we would get it, and did. There's a GEM grant through the Travel Wisconsin. That's a promotional grant too. That's totally something that could work for a campaign like this. But I guess going back, you know, all these videos don't have anything running now, like page, like money-wise. We don't have money backing them, but they're still performing. They're still out there. We do run at, like, for the city of West Bend, just like a general ad often that we switch out maybe every couple months. And like right now we have one going for just like this beautiful shot. Of course, John took it of one of our parks, and it's just to like increase page followers. Like, and it does. Like, we were averaging about 30 or so a day this last month when we put quite a bit of money toward it just to like generate a following for a little bit in advance of the holidays, because that's going to set us up for success with like putting out organic content, you know, for businesses and such in November and December. And then just like targeting any of those ads like really precisely. Like, we don't want to reach everyone. We just want to reach people we think are going to actually be interested in the city of West Bend and like come there and hopefully be positive.
Mm-hmm.
And then setting, you know, just one thing over time, if you are doing ads, like a lot of people want to set like this daily budget, like I'm only gonna spend $1 a day, and like, okay, and like we've tested that, we've done that, and it works, and you might get a day for $1. But if you set a budget that's like the same amount, like this is just from testing on our end, and you say like I want to spend $30 this month, like we're seeing like we're getting a lot more if it's like a solid lifetime budget versus a daily budget. I don't know if that's real or not, but in our experience it has. We like to do lots of little tests with Facebook and see like what works and what doesn't seem to. And then just the videos themselves, I mean, integrating them everywhere, making sure that it's not just the video, like that all the other areas like support the video. So like the website and the VOD and cable channels, like they're all like these platforms that serve the video and, you know, hopefully reach as many people as we can.
Yep.
I don't know. I think that's
it.
much it.
Do you guys have any questions? Yeah.
So, I had this question in my mind a second ago. So I don't know how your city's organization is, but I mean, did you have any trouble convincing anybody that you could pull this kind of campaign off? Because
Myself. I had to convince myself.
if I went to my bid and said, we're going to do this campaign for you, they would say, you're those goofballs that shoot those like shows with the mayor and the city administrator, you know, in front of a
Yes,
black
there was
curtain.
some small apprehension, I think, at first with the bid, because they wanted to kind of take this money and use it elsewhere. Something that had worked in the past, we're going to use it elsewhere, you know? But we were, I guess, fortunate or lucky, or however you want to think about it, that a lot of people, especially at that time, kind of said, we got to try something new. It's just time for us to, you know, paper coupons is not going to work for us this year, you know?
Right.
So we got to try something different. These guys are here. Luckily...
That's right.
Yeah, luckily these, you know, our reputation was okay to most of them at the time, that they were able to give us a shot. And I remember I was, you know, doing that bid meeting when that got approved, and when it did, I kind of sunk in my chair a little bit and went, I got a lot of work to do. This is going to be tough. And they had real high expectations as far as what they wanted to accomplish. And I don't know about you guys, sometimes I always find it extremely difficult to take somebody else's vision and then you got to bring it to life a little bit. And especially in a situation where they gave us everything in their budget to pull this off. So in my mind, that was a lot of pressure to make sure that we had this. But in the same sense, working with a teammate, you know, who is able to assist me and getting these ads out and taking our content and making sure that it's in the right spot at the right time to make sure that it's getting out there to these people so that we have measurable results to go back to these bid board members and say, yeah, it's working.
Well,
you know,
this wasn't your first campaign, was it?
It was, yeah.
It was?
This was our first campaign.
Well, I wanted to ask you about your
like with them
video because
oh, sure.
Our police department wants to come up with one.
Oh. Sure.
Chief of police wants to do a funny one.
Funny ones are always fun.
Yeah, our chief wouldn't want to do that.
They're funny.
Yeah,
They're
no.
not funny.
Yeah.
So anyway, you know, I looked at yours. I thought that's a great one. So I showed them that. And I
Sure.
said, well, we can do kind of like a combination. But you know, I counted up your shots. You probably had what, 50, 60
Oh.
different scenes.
I didn't rely heavily on all original content for that. So we did a lot of original content for that, but we took a lot of B-roll that we've had, in the past and incorporated it. A lot of this stuff, like the training and all that stuff, that was all new. So the best part about the police videos, I had a really great liaison with the police department that helped set all this up. Interviews, here's our training, here's this, here's this, here's this. You just got to be there. So I didn't have to worry about that on my end as far as, what am I going to get today, or who am I going to have to contact?
Well,
through
the scripting, I'm sure you came up with the scripting, but
I did not. Actually, the police department did. They had a very particular message that they wanted to get out, which was fine with me. That's a little bit less off my back, then I just have to worry about putting this together. So we kind of, it was a little bit, we had a certain amount of questions that we wanted to go through, and we asked the same people questions. There was only one that was different, that was more suited to their specialty, to kind of make it a little bit more unique. So that was kind of nice that we had those in advance, but we worked with the police department at that time saying, well, this is our vision, how do we get that? Okay, well, these are the type of questions that we can kind of ask. And then he would go back and say, okay, well, this is what we put together, how does this work? Works great. So there was a lot of back and forth to do that, to get that done, but it was really great to have somebody with the police department on a majority of our shoots. So if the person was answering a question he knew that was, not great,
Correct.
nope, we're going to do that again,
yeah, if they, say the wrong word or something.
Right.
And just like some background, this video is a video that's used for like police recruitment that was sort of like requested, and it took a few months to accomplish. It was more of like an internal,
Do either of you know about this Facebook Community Summit in November next week?
No.
Okay, I was just wondering what it was. It's it looks like like they're going to have a community summit of
Where is it?
Facebook administrators online.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, I
that makes
can
sense.
show you.
Sure.
Did you have to get that poem approved by anybody? Or? Nothing wrong with it. I'm just wondering.
Copyright.
No, so thankfully,
That's a good story.
Yeah, we kind of. No, I don't think so. I mean, we wrote it just like one day and thought, we'll see. Sometimes we function a little on the like, we're gonna ask for forgiveness. So like, our department's a little unique in that we're funded. We're funded through the franchise fees, and we've been able to stay like away from the general fund, and we try to do that, and we're actively trying to stay that way because it gives us more flexibility, and it gives us a little more of like, we're our own entity. Right. Not that we know our place.
Yeah.
We do the same thing.
Yeah, and so like in that situation, like I don't know, the city administrator is like our kind of go-to contact, and he'll look at stuff, but I don't think we showed him that. He trusts us.
Not until the end when we needed him
yeah,
for the last
he was
shot.
in that
so.
video. Yeah. So like, he, for the most part, like trusts us to do stuff. We don't really do anything that's
too risky.
Too risky. Yep.
Can you show us your police video?
Well, does anyone have a room number I could get on the internet? I'm sorry.
313.
313, and maybe what's your last name? Sorry.
Robbins, Robbins. Although I've checked out, so I don't know if that's going to work.
We'll try.
You need an access code?
I don't
have that.
I don't think so.
There is a.
Perfect. So we do have a ton of videos in different series that are done too. So if you're ever interested in checking us out, it's the City of West Bend and the Communications Department, and there's videos about our departments.
I think you need an access code.
Oh, so you have that?
MKETH.
MKETH. And everything's on the YouTube channel.
Yep, so we do everything on YouTube, and then we also do it on our video on demand page as well, so we just kind of double post it in that sense. And then every month we do Business of the Month. Those videos are posted to our video on demand, YouTube, and then directly to Facebook.
It sounds like your channel is kind of an afterthought.
The
cable? The cable channel.
No, actually everything goes there first, but we've kind of realized that we have to have multiple online platforms to reach our audiences these days. The cable channel, actually, it's where a lot of our live stuff goes, and that's great, and then all of this stuff plays theirs as well. So it's really nice to have, but for our demographic, we found that Facebook is where we get the most reach from our region, which is kind of nice. We pump up our VOD where you can watch our channels live and everything like that. As far as cable subscriptions and all that stuff go, I have no idea how many people are actually watching, on their TV at home. One of the things that we found kind of interesting with that ad campaign is a lot of people were watching that ad on TV. A high percentage came back that it was.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Was from television, which was kind of rewarding to see, but in the same sense, we do a lot of these projects, so we don't do too many. We do have a lot of meetings. We're not in the Madison range of hundreds of meetings or whatever they have, but so we're able to kind of spend some time, a lot of this stuff on this. But we just recently updated to Castus, so we were switching over our interface at the time of this campaign, so that's why we chose YouTube over our VOD site, because we didn't truly have a VOD site at the time when this campaign started, so we didn't want to put out a web page that was in flux
Yeah, we did
a
that
little
project
bit.
too.
Yeah,
That's
right, yeah. So that was kind of it's a little bit of everything. I feel like with our station and everything, we have many arms that kind of reach out to grab our audiences, which is kind of nice. If it's through internet, if it's through cable, or even hopefully in the next few years our OTT platforms, like that's the direction I think that we're gonna hopefully move forward through.
All right, so here's the police recruitment video. It's about 3.5 minutes or so. I can't control the volume.
I like the diversity of the city. I like the fact that when I go speak with someone on my patrol or on a call, I learn something different, whether it's something culturally, something about music, artwork, their hobbies. We spend all day, the entire shift, 5 days a week with each other. It's nice, after work to go grab a bite to eat. Even on our off days, go on a day trip, bonfires, or, just doing stuff with each other to kind of extend the relationship outside of work and kind of learn a lot more about each other at a personal level. I think the police department does a good job at using both proactive and reactive policing. The reactive would be responding to our day-to-day calls for service that we get. The proactive would be more of going on a bike patrol on our trails around town, or doing a foot patrol around the parks, and I even think that the school liaison officers are part of that proactive policing.
It makes it a little bit more special for me to give back to West Bend, as I grew up here. I attended West Bend West High School. I attended UW Washington County here in West Bend. I have to give back to this community because this is where my friends and family are. I'm also raising my own family here in this community. I'm a school liaison officer. There is our multi-jurisdictional drug unit. There is drug recognition expert, SFST instructor, DAT instructor, firearms instructor, evac instructor. We also have a new operation for a drone, and along with our community goes the crime prevention patrol advisor, our police cadet mentor. In West Bend, we handle everything from a robbery or burglary to a retail theft to a barking dog to a traffic crash. Everything under the sun that I was trained in the academy, I've had to utilize and investigate in West Bend. But you also are able to utilize a lot of your specialized skills and further your career very quickly at West Bend PD based on different training opportunities and different specialized assignments.
I became a drug recognition expert, and then luckily get to attend all the in-service trainings that go everything from CIT training to learning about the programs that we can offer to citizens throughout the city of West Bend. We do 50 to 60 in-service hours a year. This used to be our indoor range. Now we kind of made it into a fake living arrangement that we use for room clearing. We use sim rounds in here to do live scenarios. And then we have an indoor and outdoor range. It's a constantly changing world. You never know what's going to be asked of you on a day-to-day basis, and that part to me is exciting.
We also have a community that backs us and supports us. I couldn't think of any other place that I would need to give back to.
We have a lot of events in the summer. We have Music on Main. We have German Fest. We have a bunch of other things that a lot of other towns don't have to offer. This place really provides a big plethora of not only things to do, but it gives the opportunity for police departments and other city departments to go out and get together with the community and kind of unite as one.
where did you distribute
Working in
that
real
to get
estate?
the audience you wanted?
That was just used for the police department, so they had their own websites that they kind of wanted to post it to for recruitment purposes. So it was all kept in house, and then YouTube obviously, but so they could have the link and everything like that to do. But we also run it on our cable channels as well, because we have our city series, which we produce, kind of detailing different departments in the city that we kind of play, you know, before, after meetings and stuff like that. So this one's also played on TV constantly at this point. Any other questions? Yes.
For your downtown West Bend logo, did you guys create that, or was that?
She did. Yeah, she's
Nice.
great at that stuff.
We just put it like as part of the campaign when we proposed it to the bid. It was, you know, put together like a PDF with the outline and the goals, and needed some kind of stamp or logo. I mean, yeah, the process was just like, we're just making it, and we can make it whatever, and if they don't like it, that's fine, we'll just switch it up, or we could just use the city logo, or no logo at all, really, on that campaign would be fine, but it kind of gave the bid a little bit of like an identity. The bid board felt like pleased to have something, and we've continued to use it now. Now after that campaign, we incorporated like a newsletter that goes out after every bid meeting, where it shows like you can link to the cable, you know, you can watch it on VOD after, and then like gives kind of a fun rundown. So it's kind of like spurred things after. So that was nice. It had longevity after the campaign. Yep. We're getting the timestamps.
Yeah.
We're happy to answer any questions, and you want to go ahead and have lunch.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.